So now we will talk about finance. And before joining SME Banking Club for almost 10 years, Olena was responsible for the development of banking products for small businesses, customers in international banks. Right, Olena?
Correct.
Correct.
Yes.
So tell us more about your organization. What actually
Yes,
you do.
yes, we are SME Banking Club. So I am responsible for the Central Eastern Europe here. So we are present in 4 regions. So except of Central Eastern Europe, we are present also in CIS countries, Caucasus, and Central Asia. So the analysis and the data that I will share today will actually be relevant for the Central Eastern Europe, so the region that we all are located in.
Yeah.
So.
And how exactly do you support the small and medium businesses? Actually, they need huge support right now.
Well, we support them through the banks and fintechs actually, because we do not cooperate or contact directly with the SMEs, but the purpose is to help banks and fintechs to innovate more exactly for this segment and support the SMEs, because this is the segment I think that needs the support the most, especially in the crisis times. So all our core team and me, as Olena mentioned, we are all as ex-SME bankers. So we were working for products and risk management and support of small business customers in banks. So, and this is actually the companies that do not have a lot of resources. And actually now I expecting more and more from banks and other financial organizations as well to become a partner. So they want a bank to become a partner in their businesses. So to be more than just a traditional bank. So that's why this is very important, to develop. So banks call it like value-added services for small customers, but for this is from the point of view of the banks, but from the point of view of customers, of SMEs themselves, these are the main things that they need, like invoicing services, accounting services. So this is actually their daily life, their daily business, and not banking. They don't think about banking.
Yeah. So how important is the digitalization of financial services for the small business companies? And I think we can turn on your presentation now.
We can start the presentation, right?
Yeah, right.
So should I put here like start?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, and here the next. Yes, so I will start, from the topic actually. So this is an important thing, because SMEs are the owners and the key people in small business companies, and very usually, if this is a micro company, there is a one person which is an owner and the director and one person show, like I'm saying. And as they are starting to receive more and more digital experience as private individuals, as individual customer of the banks and fintechs as well, so they started to expect the same level of digitalization for their business products, let's say. So if we see, so here was just give you here 2 snapshots from different studies. So this was a research of Raiffeisen Bank, and actually here we see that in the half of the CE countries, more than 50% of population are using digital channels in their daily life, so to pay different bills, to shop online, etc. So more than 50%. And here is another slide on the Polish market. Bank Pekao is doing such an annual study on the digitalization, on the innovations among the small business companies. And this shows that almost 20% of small business companies are investing in innovation in products, and only 13 in processes. And here actually maybe what this shows, that the SMEs are expecting some support from the banks here. So, and here is a very good picture I took it from the strategy of Alior Bank, one of the leading banks in Poland. And here we see that actually that, yes, that customers started to expect from the bank to be more than just a traditional bank. So being a traditional bank and giving basic services, I mean, this is basics for the customers now. So now they demand from the banks to be a digital one. So to have a very convenient banking app, to have a good customer experience there, and of course to have responsible design and to be omnichannel, so to be available in all the gadgets and all the gadgets that have actually access to internet. Also, they want to be they want to receive very personalized offers. So they expect that the bank or other financial company will know them so well that will introduce to them very individual offers that are very relevant in today's life and in today's business life and needs of the customer. And a bank that makes daily life and business easier, so that they expect to have some complementary services, like I mentioned earlier, like e-invoicing, platform accounting services, etc. And like basics banking services like payments are becoming more and more invisible for the customer. Like, there is a term here like Uberization of payments. So when you put your, like in Uber, when you put your card details once, and then you don't think on the payment at all. So you just get the car, you go where you want, and you don't think about the payments at all. So this is the trend which is entering the banking as well. We are doing on an annual basis several studies that I will show some results of it, analyzing the digital services and the digital experience for SMEs here in the Central Eastern Europe region. And these are the digital banking transformation study, where we analyzed digital banking strategies from the region, and the report on the online banking, so which functions are available for business customers and mainly for micro and small businesses in the main banks. So we took 25 banks in 5 main countries in the Central Eastern Europe region, and we analyzed what is available and what customers actually can do online if they don't want to go to the branch, for example. And these are the studies that we are updating on a yearly basis, so annually. So this one, the new version will be ready up to September this year. And what is also interesting here, probably I will mention that the ones, so if you want to look at the digital banking strategy, they're also mainly, so here the pool of the examples will be mainly from Poland, because this is probably one country in the region where banks are publishing their strategies publicly, on their website. So you can enter the site, find this information. This is open, and this is actually the sign that banks are started to be open, for the cooperation of the third-party providers and with the fintechs. So if we go to some details, so what we see here. So here are the main trends now in the digital banking and digital experience in the region for business customers. So first of all, the online customer onboarding, then very useful and customer dashboards that the customers can customize sorry for this, by themselves. So they put on the main screen on the online banking or mobile banking the widgets for the function that they use the most to be convenient. Also, that all the products should be available in digital channels. This is the expectation, and especially now in the crisis times when the physical contacts with the relationship managers and branches are limited. This is also a creation of ecosystem, so that the customers are expecting that, and best of all, to have it, like a one entry point. So if, for example, if customer logins into the online banking or mobile banking, then they have it all here. So without any additional logging in or switching to another Windows, let's say. Then integration of value-added services, easy and simple authorization of payments, and as an example, mobile authorization, and as I mentioned already, also omni-channel approach that the products are available in all the channels, and that, for example, if I started, I don't know, open an account in mobile banking, I can finish it in online banking, and vice versa. So here, such a table that actually shows that here that the more than 70% of the banks have such a basic operation, which is considered by the customers as basics, like account balances, transaction in local currency, in foreign currencies, payment templates, opening a deposit, for example, online. So this is available in the main part of the banks, and this is a basic function. So this is not that differentiates the banks on the market anymore. This is a must-have. And what is differentiation the banks here is that having such additional modules and additional functions like a foreign currency module, possibility to set dashboards, to have online chat, for example, with the virtual relationship manager maybe, then to have online lending experience. So starting from the entering or fulfilling the application until the disbursement of loan and even the loan administration. This is actually the less than 10% of the banks now in the region have this fully digital lending processes for SMEs and for example, factoring processes. So this is actually what really differentiates banks on the market. And also integration of different services like BFM model, so business financial model, and accounting and etc. So this is available in less than 30% of the banks in the region. But actually, I think that this will be a must-have within the next 2-3 years, maybe. Because banks customers are starting to expect this, and me actually being an SME customer as well. So yes, I choose and I'm changing the bank just because of I can have in my online banking access to the e-invoicing and online accounting, for example. So some examples here. So 3 banks, and they are in Poland, made possible from last year to register a business via the bank's website. So this is available for the entrepreneurs, not for companies at the moment. So these banks are like to attract the customers. They went one step earlier. So just because when the customer or small companies register in the business, so they receive during the first day after the registration 100 of calls from different banks. So please open a current account with us. And these banks are meeting these customers one step earlier and making it possible to register a business from the bank's website, and this takes them less if they choose to register the business on the governmental portal, because these are the biggest actually banks here in Poland: mBank, PKO Bank Polski, and ING Bank. So, and if you are a customer, an individual customer, for example, of this bank, so mainly of the fields that are required to register the business are fulfilled automatically. So you really just inputting 3-5 fields, and you have your business registered first, and then you have your current account opened automatically, and also you receive an access to the online banking services immediately. So these are the solution, the trending solution that differentiates banks on the market. This is an example from ING on custom onboarding. So this is happening really in minutes. So the customer fulfilling the form on the web page of the bank, then the customer receives the access, the code to the access to online banking via the SMS, and then enters, logins the online banking and signing the agreement for the business account digitally. And of course, the account is activated, so it takes 5 minutes to complete the form and 1 hour maximum to activate the current account. This is example of the omni-channel. So as I mentioned, so if you start opening the current account on the online banking, for example, on the laptop, on the desktop computer, then you can finish it on the mobile banking, let's say. Creating ecosystems. This is an example from the OTP Bank in Hungary, and this actually was they were one of the first banks to create an ecosystem for SMEs, that they're having this one entry point, and having in the online banking system also taxation system, e-invoicing system, etc. This is an example of BFM module from the PKO Bank Polski, so that the customer can analyze the cash flow and actually predict the cash flow. So if the customer, for example, sees that in a week they will have a red, they will be in red, let's say. So the based on the analysis of the invoices they are issuing, for example, and the delays that their customers are paying to them, for example, in a week they can go to red, and then they will need, for example, some maybe finance from the bank to cover this gap and to pay, I don't know, for the employees, for example, or to their suppliers. This is also an example from the OTP Bank, actually showing here the dashboard, also the analysis of the cash flow of the customer. The e-invoicing module, the good thing, the interesting thing with OTP is that I think this is the only actual example now at the moment of the market, is that here the customer has the access not only to e-invoicing module, meaning that you can issue, so you're issuing digitally your invoices to your customers, but also you're receiving the invoices from your suppliers, so it is automatically uploaded here in the system, and it takes you 2 clicks to pay it. This is a cool example, also one of the first from the mBank in Poland. So when I think 3 years ago they implemented first online accounting, and for an example for sole traders, so for entrepreneurs, this is some, for example, tax declarations are automated. So here the customer can not only issue the invoice in 2 clicks, but also to pay taxes in 1 click and send the declaration, the VAT, for example, declaration in 1 click, because this is done automatically for them. This is an example of ING Bank also implementing online accounting, and they did it separately for the entrepreneurs, meaning that they can have a simplified accounting and needs, let's say, in such services, and also like more complicated version for the companies, which looks like really for corporations here. And towards to probably to end my presentation about digital lending and access to the digital finance here in the region, is that 2 banks, what I mentioned in Poland, ING and mBank, offering to the customers a completely online lending process for SMEs, so starting from the application form until the very disbursement. And for example, 5 countries in Poland, five banks in Poland having online application available in for the SMEs, 2 banks in Romania and 1 bank in Bulgaria, which is ProCredit, implemented this. And if we talk about factoring, which is another financial product starting to be very popular the last months, so also 2 banks in Poland have offering to SMEs fully digital process for factoring, and for fintechs in Poland offering this as well, and also 1 B2B marketplace, a bit different format, but still offers invoice finance in Romania, here in the region. So, and here maybe also one last mention from my side. So actually the biggest digital innovation that we are seeing here during the last months of the COVID crisis is the implementation of digital signatures. So just because everybody limited the visits to the branch, so actually all the banks in Poland, and now I read also that the Raiffeisen group also implemented in their banks as well. So the customers can sign either new agreements or annexes to existing loan agreements, for example, leasing agreements or factoring agreements, fully digitally. And in Poland, for example, this was a very good example when they decided to cooperate in these implementations with the fintech, which actually helps to implement and digitalize services for SMEs in particular segments, in particular products faster than by themselves. And this was a very good example when actually 3 banks invested in one fintech to implement the digital signatures both for customers, so for the business customers of all the banks.
Thank you so much, Olena. I have a question for you. Automation, digitalization, omni-channel, and connection. We were talking about these the whole day long.
Okay.
And all those things, they are applied for many industries, for startups, for other businesses as well. But one thing is really important these days for the financial sector, and it's called artificial intelligence. Where do you see the future of that in finance, and how is the market right now?
Yes, this is one of the things that banks are thinking of, and we also been discussing at our events very, very often. So the main things, the main areas, what we see at the very moment when the banks are using this is robotization and actually combining the robotic automation and artificial intelligence platforms to, first of all, automate the processes on the back end, meaning that some processes that are standardized, for example, or that are repeatable, so they can be fully automated, like loans disbursement, loan booking, for example. Some banks are experimenting with the voice robotics, and so.
How does that work for the customers? How does that work for the customers? Do you have any feedback about that?
I think this is more now in the phase of piloting and testing. So this is not so widely spread, I would say, in here in the region, if we talk about CEE region. So, well, artificial intelligence and the part of it which is called machine learning, so it is used.
Exactly. Is it the same? Sorry to interrupt, but recently I had such a discussion about the difference, and if there is a difference between artificial intelligence and machine learning, especially in the banking sector.
Yes, well, I would say so. These are actually very technique things. I mean,
yeah,
yes,
of course.
you should be an IT, to explain the difference in the deep, let's say, in detail. But actually, what is actually used? The machine learning, this is the algorithm that actually learns from the customer behavior. So how the customer behaves. And it is using, actually, fintechs are the first to use this in their credit analysis and their scorings for micros, firstly, for making decision if the customer is new, for example. And very often the customer is very new to the fintech, so the banks actually can analyze the existing customer base, and these are the biggest advantage of the banks. While for the fintechs, every customer is new, especially if they sell a very part of the needs that SMEs require for their business life, let's say. So this is actually what helps to learn the customer behavior, and made on this behavior, based on this behavior, make a prediction and make a decision on everything. So also now I think that this biometrical logging in, which is also tested by, I know that tested by several banks, that it will be possible to log in with the so the algorithm will analyze how you type, how you enter, how you type, for example, using a laptop or your mobile device when you're logging into your mobile banking app or to the online banking app. So is it the same way that you are doing when you are entering any other web pages? And if it is so, then you will be able to log in to the online and mobile banking. If not, so this may be considered as a fraud. So these are these behavioral analytics tools that actually are using artificial intelligence and machine learning. So these are the areas that it can be used, but still I think now this is still more on the piloting mode. So we will see this in a wider scale, I think, in like 1, 2, 3 years.
Okay, thank you so much. And now